I swear to God, black people are the only group of people in this country that does not prioritize black issues, and that's why they stay at the bottom. We had an immigration march singing "We Shall Overcome" and ain't overcame nothing for black people. And let me say that that does not mean that we do not support or love Latino brothers and sisters if we don't join they fight. Si se puede. It just means that we have to prioritize the fight right here at home. How you at home in your house on fire? You're in the state of emergency. You got the bottom of wealth, the lowest amount of homeowners, the most chronic diseases. Your kids are being miseducated in public schools. They stealing all the money. They stealing your houses and tax sales, and they constantly pushing you out your neighborhood. How you in a state of emergency where you at? Your kids don't have the opportunities that they deserve. They don't have a pathway to trade jobs. They took the trades out of school. They don't have a pathway to tech jobs. But you are sitting here talking about immigration every day online. You going to immigration protests. You need to get your focus together. We need to be focused on how we are to better our communities for the next generation of young people. And if we need to stand up against our politicians, we got every right to do so. Your mayor just gave $1 billion to migrants in 18 months. He fed them, clothed them, sheltered them, and everything. But a video just came out last night to show a whole group of black homeless people sleeping on a CTA train because they think that that's a homeless shelter, but they don't have the resources that they deserve. We got to get right, guys, and stand up for what we deserve in our community.
All right, Steve, I don't know how you knew we was going to talk about this, but perfect segue. So with that being said, I'm going to let Steve start it off. So go on, finish, tell us your thoughts about this. So the question I have is do you think that we should be supporting these protests, and why?
It goes by the protest a lot of times to me and the fight. Because sometimes we fight battles that we know we can't win. That's a lot of the fight that go on, and that's why a lot of people end up in a bad situation because they put themselves in bad situations.
Make sure you answer the question too, though.
Yeah, I got you. Now, when it comes, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's a lot to go on with this.
He don't never answer the question.
Hey man, Rockstar, you better. But that's why I'm like, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of ways you can look at things from a lot of different angles.
We want your angle.
That's why I'm trying to give it to you, but I'm trying to loop around. I'm trying to play shortstop, first base, and in the mid center field, bro.
I'm gonna do whole clips of like different.
So I'm just giving you a little heads up. But I'm just saying it's a lot of ways you can look at it. And I feel him on every aspect that he just stated and stuff. And there's a lot of stuff in this country that is like, come on, man. Like ethics and morally on your own people, like, come on.
Gotcha. Jay, you want to get in on this? What's your thoughts on? I know you're gonna answer the question first. I gotta mess with Steve. This will make the show out.
Are these about the protests in Minnesota?
Nah, what do you think that we should be supporting protests that has nothing to do with
nothing
us?
To do with it? Yeah, I do. To a certain extent. Okay. Well, because it's the thing, people gonna fight for what affects them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I understand the person if they say, nah, I ain't got nothing with our people, right? But me personally, you know, if it was a justified reason, I would support other culture or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Just because it's like, one, I'm the type like I would like to do unto others as, you know what I'm saying? You never know when you may need some help and somebody look at you and look past your skin color like, yo, this ain't right. You know what I'm saying? So I can understand both ends of the spectrum, but me personally, if it's a justified reason, you know, I'll support people because, you know, at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Like it's about right and wrong. Yeah, color comes to that certain point, yes, depending on what it is. But you know, I see my neighbor is Spanish, right? He's Mexican. If something's going down, you know what I'm saying? I don't even talk to this mama. You know what I'm saying? Like I really don't. But I see him and his kids and his wife every day and stuff. If I see him doing something unjust, I'm like, hey man, hold on, that's not right. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, so that's just how I am. And so yeah, I'll stand up for my fellow at the end of the day.
You know, that's funny you say that, right? Because me personally, them ain't my people. I'm just gonna be real with you, and ain't nothing brown about them to me. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know how they was given a color that I never seen them in that shade. I'm just gonna be real with you, bro.
Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
So, and it's just pop like, so with that, so are you saying like, does your humanity stop at your skin color?
Oh, what's the question?
Does your humanity stop at your skin color? That was the question. Like, does it like if it's a white person, like a white person, like an Irish spring person going through something, if they're not black, are you gonna turn the back on them, or you be like, yo, that's just not right?
First of all, it's cold as hell in Minnesota. I probably ain't gonna go protesting for none of no niggas. That first of all. That's first of all.
I know first and foremost, it's cold as hell up there. Trust me, I do.
But nah, man. Even if you even ask them, the real ones, they will tell you they don't like us. I've been incarcerated. You want to know? It's 3 directions you go when you go in, and one of 3 directions. You only have 3 directions to go when you go in. White, black, Mexican. You want to know where all they going? They all gonna go to the. They gonna go. So that alone lets me know who stands for me and who don't stand for me. So just me knowing that, I take that outside of the cells, and I'm rocking that way. I can't do it, bro. I can't. Yeah, but that's just me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But here's the thing: there's nothing I would like to feel. I would like to feel like you feel, but you know, there's this militant saying that says, Bibles, religion doesn't exist in war. So that's how I look at it, bro. When it come down to it, they gonna ride with they side. Yeah. Yeah, but that's me. So anybody else want to speak on it? What's y'all thoughts?
Yeah.
Let me say something real quick since somebody's saying anything. And I understand your point of view. You know what I mean? Because like I understand your point of view. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like that for the longest. And I know there's levels to where I will, you know. And I think part of it, the stuff that we're going through today, take race out of it, you take classism into it. You know, everybody talk about fascism, all that stuff. It's like that's just what the world is. You know what I'm saying? What you're saying is a realistic view on stuff. What I'm saying is my view. That's they're both realistic views. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I personally think, you know, America itself and maybe the world in general is always going to be just, we have to figure it out one way or another because we are not all on our own continents. We're not. You know what I'm saying? And like, I would love to think that if I'm getting beaten in the middle of the street by whoever, if a white dude walked by, he might say, hey, that's a man getting whooped over there. Let me try to help him. I may not get myself beat up, but let me try. But that white man just might walk around like, that ain't none of my business. And that's kind of the messed up part about this whole world. You know what I'm saying? And part of that, yeah, like you said, like, you know, I'm from Minnesota. You know what I'm saying? And that whole Alex Petty stuff, the Renee Good, all those things. It's just messed up because you do have these two varying ways of people looking at things. And I'm starting to realize the more I'm seeing a lot of the world's perspectives, it's like people don't care about anything, even myself. There's things where I've looked at and seen something like whatever, But when it's at your front door, it's a little bit different. And I think that's just going to be the norm. You know what I'm saying? Like, my way of looking at stuff is not the right way necessarily. You know what I'm saying? The next person's, but it's like, it kind of sucks for the world in a way. You know what I'm saying? Because, especially in America, we're in this mixed up pot here. It's always, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're conservative, you're liberal. If you're left, if you're right. So, and part of what you're saying, I understand 1,000%, because it's like, why try to mix it together then? Because it ain't gonna work.
Yeah, I totally respect everything you said, because you ain't wrong. You totally right. You totally right. I have no rebuttal. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I feel
That
like
might be a little quick. Go on.
No, you telling the truth, bro. I just I would consider, see, socialistically, I agree with you. But survival wise, I got I got a whole different perspective.
I understand that. Yeah.
Go ahead, Christian. Yeah.
well, like who do you saying like in the moment, if something's happening to somebody, I don't care like what's going on. I'm gonna help somebody, right? I was in a situation, I saw a little white girl getting, beat on and cussed out by a big black dude, and I went in and I intervened, to help her in the moment. I'm gonna be there for people, but so I think that's kind of different than like going to a protest. That's like, nothing's happening in that moment. But I want what's good for everybody. I want everyone to have peace and harmony. I want everyone to get treated equally and everything, but it's like one part of me is like heavy on my business. I don't want to get involved in anything that's not directly affecting me, because I try to make every choice based off of love for myself, right? I want to have a peace of mind, right? So I choose thoughts that serve me. So I'm not trying to think about someone else's struggle, because I'm thinking about my own, right? And then when it comes to me, it's kind of like I always, when you're asking about should we be participating, I kind of go back to like Muhammad Ali. Ain't no Viet Cong ever called me a nigga. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't, want to be fighting other people's battles. We're still fighting our own battles. I wish what's great for you. I want y'all to win y'all's battle. I'm praying for y'all. Y'all got a donation, a GoFundMe account. I'll give y'all a little bread. You know what I'm saying? And I'll ask the Lord, to guide you through until you make it. But as far as me going and getting involved and actively putting myself into a protest or, something like that, me personally, I'm not going to do it. But I'm heavy on my business and stay in the house unless someone's paying me to walk outside, so.
Yeah. And then also, before you go, King, I mean, we all are held to a certain standard to obey the law. I mean, they're breaking the law. If you're not, legally here, you're breaking the law, right? I mean, in its simplest form, right? I know if I run a red light, they're gonna give me a ticket. If I have a warrant, I'm going to jail.
You can't go nowhere. You can't go to no other country. You can't go to another country without the approval of some other country. You know what I'm saying? You just can't. You know what I mean? And then the emphasis on like we need to protect them. I'll protect my brother if something's happening. Yeah, if something was happening, but this is something that's been mandated. The only thing that's making it happening is the people up there, because I've been in protest mind state. I've been at protests. I've done these things. There is a part where you get to where you're like, man, you want some more shit to happen. You want something else to happen. Now you got a group of people that making something happen and they're breaking the law. They're blocking the streets. This is like a federal mandate to go in and get people who have broke the law of what our land is. You have to ask to come in here. And then the same whatever, even if the cops are wrong, that's their business to be wrong. As far as like if they got the wrong person or it doesn't even exist, that's theirs. But to get in the way because you want to make sure it makes something, that's not how activism works. Activism is years, centuries, is decades. It ain't overnight. And that's the deal. They think it's gonna happen overnight. So they're getting frustrated and coming to fucking protest armed with a fucking gun and armed and thinking that you're a fucking hero when you're not. You are probably a nurse. You're a hero inside that hospital, but you're not a fucking hero sitting here jumping in front of things, doing those kind of things. And then also, yeah, the officers. I can still say hindsight 2020. They're probably got some things, but they're in the wrong as far as like how they gunned the guy down. But we're gonna find that out later in a courtroom. They're gonna fight that in a courtroom. They're not gonna fight it in the streets. And that's all we're saying to the protesters: fight that shit in a courtroom.
Good question, King. So you said that part, and you're right. Activism takes years. It takes. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of broken up a little bit.
I hear an echo.
Your audio's choppy.
But I also hear an echo too.
On mine?
All right, can you hear me?
I don't know who. Okay, go ahead. You good.
Okay. So here's my thing with that. And you're right. Activism takes years. It can take years. It can take time. You can't just rush to get results right away. And yes, unfortunately, Renee Good, she did something that can be taken either way. Cool. So did Alex Pretty, whatever. But you said specifically you can't show up to protest armed. Yes, you can.
No, I'm not saying you can't. I'm talking hypothetically in the sense of like using common sense and knowing that if you don't need to, why are you bringing a firearm? It's not meaning you can, but you can't sit there and not have your ID on you, not have your concealed license on you, and then resist arrest, or even wrestle or any kind of infraction around law enforcement, not say that you got a gun.
That's disingenuous. You picking an event. Don't do that.
So I get what you're saying, right? Because here's the thing. This is kind of what I was saying earlier. And I'm not going to get all into the minutia things, right?
Concealed gun license. Like these actual things you have to do.
Some people say, "Hey, he did this, he did that." At the end of the day, the way I view the life was lost. He had a gun on him, yeah, legally. The thing is, it's like if it's on one spectrum, people argue the legality of it. Oh, this like Kyle Rittenhour, he walked up there and got to blazing at people, got off all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? This guy, when we get pushed down, and then he ended up getting shot 10 times after the gun's off him. And we all know it's going to be the officers fear for their lives. You know what I'm saying? It's like people. The problem with this stuff to me, and I get all the arguments. Hey, he probably shouldn't have stayed out of it to a certain extent. Like, hey, they're doing that, whether it's right or wrong. You know what I'm saying? Whether you feel like this enforcement is going too far.
The unfortunate thing about the Kyle Rittenhouse is that he has several tracks of communication to law enforcement how he was able to be disarmed and not be shot. He walked up to him with his hands up, say, "I got a gun on me," and he had the gun right there in front of him. So we're talking about like someone. We're talking about somebody.
Come on, Ken.
Hold on. So he walked up like this. I got a gun. He used his weapon and killed people. This guy had in Minnesota. In Minnesota, it's a consistent.
That's what I said. Unfortunate. That's why I said unfortunately.
Right. Unfortunately,
the dude actually did what he had to do to get by.
But here's the thing, though. The thing is, the law is conceal and carry. He had it concealed, and he was carrying it law-abidingly. I guarantee you. And I'm like, you know what I'm saying? If it was on, if he had not been doing that, if he was concealing, carrying, and did something else, and he was perceived to be on the right, everybody would be defending it. And if it go either party, I don't care if a person on the left or right, I don't give a damn. But
I don't know. I don't agree with that part.
I agree. Yes, they would have, King. Stop
it.
They're gonna side with their party, right or wrong. Come on, King.
Yeah, I'm not saying everybody. So don't get lost in the side of the party, King. I'm talking about actually a law enforcement seeing a gun on someone, and it's a group of people, and it's all happening in seconds. And somebody says, and that cop, and that cop says, "Gun, gun, gun." To the other cops, and they're not saying, "Do you got the gun? Is the gun disarmed?" They're just saying, "Gun, gun." So these idiots are like, "Gun, gun." Oh, boom, boom. Let me shoot. I don't. That's what we're seeing.
Okay, so
we've seen it with Philando Castile. We're seeing it with all of these. But now, all of a sudden, since it doesn't fit your narrative, it doesn't work.
You can't compare other instances to narrate this
infected.
one. This is an isolated incident. We gonna talk about the situation
because
or
they
the
do.
incident.
I can because they do. You may
That
not
don't
be able
make it
to.
right.
So
You may
That
not
means
be
we
able to. I
all
can.
could
let me
do
ask a
that.
question.
You may not be able to rock, but I can.
Oh my
So what you're saying
Because
is
they do. Because they do. Quit acting like they don't, bro.
Look how you sounded. Now you're being
No, I'm saying
petty.
quit acting like they don't. Like
So you're gonna use a
I'm saying
wrong
they
to
when
justify wrong.
huh?
So
What?
you're gonna use a wrong to justify wrong is right.
No.
That's what you're doing?
I'm saying no. I'm not justifying anything. I'm saying these cops in their training, whatever that is, as soon as they hear gun, they have the green light to shoot, and they get
No, they
away
don't.
with it. Why are
They
we
do.
acting
Yeah, they
like
do. They
that's
do.
not
They do.
happening? Why are we acting like that's not happening?
Okay, but okay. So here's the thing, though. But why do they not? Here's the thing.
I'm not saying it's right.
Okay, hold on. But you're looking at it from this perspective, because here's the perspective. If I guarantee you, with the timing of and how can I say this? Because because I'm trying to frame it because I'm a little, because you said, like I told you guys before, I grew up with Philando Castile. You know what I'm saying? So that was different. You know what I'm saying? Like, but still legal. All this legal stuff. Right now, the only reason most people, and I'm not saying nobody on this call right now, is because it's objective to the ICE thing, which most, you know what I'm saying, the people on the right, or people not even on the right or on the left that are cool with that, and I understand it, are like, hey, boom, boom, boom. You have to understand that man did not deserve it. Gun. So that means that ICE isn't trained correctly, right? He needs to get shot 10 times after the gun was pulled and the person was going the other way. It's very easy to justify Renee Good because she was driving towards
I'm telling you, they're
the
going
gun
to
was
tell.
pulled.
I'm saying
So
they're
that
going to
means
tell you
that
that
these
the
ICE
ICE.
officers
I'm just
are not
answering your
aware of their
question.
surroundings, so they should
I'm
not
just
be out
answering
there.
your
So that could have been the kid that got caught shot with one of the other 9 bullets.
I'm just answering your question. I'm
No,
telling you.
I'm not going at you. I'm just saying, like,
No, I'm
like,
just answering the question.
You know?
Just saying, I'm just saying they're gonna tell you and me. They're gonna tell
Yeah.
us that they were trained correctly.
But they wasn't.
They're gonna say that they were trained.
But they wasn't.
That's what
They're
they're
only
gonna tell
getting
us.
they're only getting 12 weeks worth of training, King.
Hey,
training them
12
for 12
weeks, 6 weeks. I did 6 weeks in the military to be an Air Force. So hey, we did 6 weeks. So hey, that's cool. But I'm just telling you, they're gonna tell you as far as their training manuals and what they had to do to train to become what they are. They're gonna say yes, everything they did was by the training manual book. When somebody says that there's a gun, were you in threat of your life? Did you fear your life?
But the conversation was not about training. So you're running now. You're running from the argument. You talking about training now. That was never the debate.
Training, nigga, you just brought up training. You the one that said.
I think honestly, if this same thing would have happened under Obama, and it would have been somebody on the right that got shot, legally carrying their weapon, it would be a completely different argument.
Completely different. Completely different.
Because they'd be like, hold on, he had a legal right to carry it.
People gonna ride with that.
It's because this person was, and listen,
no
we're in
one's
America,
arguing
right?
that he didn't have a legal right to carry. No one's arguing that. No one's arguing that he didn't have a legal right to carry.
If we uphold it, then our right
y'all are all of a sudden
legally.
Some people are all of a sudden Second Amendment now. Some people are all of a sudden that now. When they weren't before, but all of a sudden they are now. Because no one.
Well, no, because the Second Amendment before was when people were showing
no one's arguing that he couldn't have a gun. No one's arguing that.
No, they literally are. No, they're arguing that he does not have the right, even though he has to conceal and carry, to conceal and carry it. That's the argument that they're coming with.
To have a gun.
He shouldn't
and if they are, they're idiots.
With a weapon.
He has a right to have a gun. He has a right to bring it to the protest. Was it the smartest decision? No. Was it the smart decision to wrestle? Was it the smartest thing to get into a wrestling match with loaded gun? No, it's not. It's not. It's just not.
But it's not. It's not because he was seen as on the level when the NRA or when.
It's not.
Okay,
check
this out. Hold on, Kane, can I ask you a question?
Wow.
Now here's the big thing. Hold on. You're military, ex-military, correct?
Correct.
Now, I remember about years ago when the military soldiers were showing up like, hey, I do this for a living with their weapons to protest about the Second Amendment and how they shouldn't have it. They were showing up with their weapons, but But they weren't
But
supposed
did
to do
they
that,
wrestle a law enforcement? Did they get in a wrestling match with a law enforcement and not say they're armed?
You're not getting.
That
Hold on.
happened.
You're not getting in the wrestling match when you're helping a lady who got pushed
Law
down. You get
enforcement
maced, and then
wrestled
they
him.
grab you.
He
That's
did
not a
not
wrestling
wrestle
match.
law enforcement. You
Hey.
gotta say it right, bro. You can't repaint the picture, King.
I feel like
I
I
ain't
feel.
mad
Look,
at
I'm
the
not
I feel you
argument,
repainting
but I
the
ain't
wrong,
gonna
picture.
let you
I'm not
I ain't gonna let
repainting
you
the
agree with
picture.
repaint
that,
the
brother.
picture.
I'm not repainting the picture. All I'm
You
saying is
just
they're
did. You
wrestling.
said they was
Whoever did
wrestling
it
law
first.
enforcement.
Okay, Rock,
Did
who
he
did
not
it
just
first so
say
you
that?
can feel better?
Did
Which
he
one
not
did it
just say
first?
they was wrestling law enforcement?
Which one did it first so they can feel better? Which one was it?
Did you not just say they was wrestling law enforcement?
Yeah, they were doing
Okay,
some
then. That's
tussling.
not
There was some
true.
tussling going on. I don't know who started it, but there's some tussling
That
going
man
on.
got maced and buckled and put his head down and got into a
Yeah.
fetal position.
Standing
He
in
did
the
not
middle,
wrestle with law
standing in the middle
enforcement
of the
with
road with a broken rib from a week ago. Yeah. With a broken rib with a week ago, he's gonna get into it with law enforcement again. Yeah. Okay,
You know what? Some people. Okay, let me ask you a question. Do
He's
you
in a
feel there's a
perfectly
point?
safe car. He's in a perfectly safe car, and he stops because he's gonna save the day.
All right, let me ask you a question. Is there ever a point in your life or in a person's life where they may feel that they need to kind of stand up for themselves against law enforcement, or do you always just have to submit to law enforcement regardless of circumstances?
We're a city and a country by laws, man. Follow the
That
law.
wasn't my question, sir.
Follow the law, man.
So
Now,
if you're coming
up against Alonzo,
I
if
swear
you're
to
coming
God,
up
I'm not
against
trying to be
Alonzo
like
from
cool.
Training Day, nigga, you better fight for your motherfucking life. But if you coming up against Smo Joe, Wally Cleaver, fucking cop, you better just stop and talk to that old man and before he put you in handcuffs and just go about your way. That's
I will
be nice.
say, and that's everybody. Me personally, I have lines in my life to where I don't care who's on the other side. If it comes to my kids, my mother, my sister, my woman, stuff like that. Or some people don't have those things. Some people.
I got 8 DWBs, nigga. I got 8 DWBs driving while black. I'm still here. I got 8
I know, I get that. No, but what I'm saying is, hold on. You're misconstruing. Hold on. You're
I'm still here,
misconstruing.
you know what I'm saying? Because I talked to him. I'm like, hey, man, y'all trying to kill me? What y'all trying to do, man? Hey, y'all gonna take me to jail? I'm just gonna call my mama, man, to come bail me out. I'm for real. I'll talk straight up like, hey, I'm okay. Hey, you want my license? Hey, you can get it for me. I'll get out. I don't even care. I like to get out. I want to see what's going on the highway.
But hold on. You're misconstruing what I'm asking. What I'm saying is, I get that. I have DWBs, all that, but I'm saying there people.
You ain't got no DWBs. You don't even look like you got DWBs, bro. You ain't scared of them.
Huh?
No, just
I got balls, bro. But what I'm saying is there a line? That's my question. Like is there a line? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, there's a line. Yes, there's a line. Just like in the military, when they said we are here, we take an oath. We take an oath to fight foreign and domestic. So yes, domestic, a cop, if he's doing something out of line, that's crazy, where I could like really be like, okay, if we go to court, I actually can fight this. Cause I'm not, but
what about people that did take the oath?
But I'm not gonna go up against law enforcement because they got the upper hand, bro. I'm gonna go
but
fight
what about
in
those
court.
who didn't take the oath though?
I'm gonna use my phone. I'm gonna turn my phone on. I'm gonna go fight it in court. I'm gonna live another day. I'm gonna go fight it in court.
So if I didn't take the oath, do I have to do it? If I didn't take the oath, do I have to do it under the same standards that you did because you took the oath?
No. You could just understand like you're a human being and you're trying to go home. So you want to go home and you want to.
Yeah, he was probably trying to make sure that old lady went home. That he was trying to help up. That they shot his ass 2 times for no reason.
Like I said, you want to go home and you want to be a hero.
Hey, sometimes you gotta be a hero, man.
Hey, there you go. I'm gonna go home.
And that turns you into a martyr.
I'm gonna go home.
Charlie Kirk's a martyr, right?
I got kids and a wifey, bro. I'm gonna go home.
People see Charlie Kirk as a martyr, right?
Hey, they do, but he ain't here. He ain't here. I'm here.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
And this is the problem I have with you political sided folks, because y'all are going to ride with y'all party and then swear y'all of neither party. You can't make this up, bro.
The symmetrical Negro here.
Nah, it's just the truth. It's just the truth.
Niggas can't have a critical idea and thought process on both situations.
Because
I gotta make sure I see both sides.
No.
Make sure I talk about this side and that side.
And look, and that's common.
That's being fair and logical.
No. Life ain't fair. It's not about being fair. I'm not sitting here looking for saying I'm not
on fairness.
All right, let me know we're done.
I'm done. I think
Okay.
done.
So all I'm saying is that I can voice my perspective on something and not end up swimming in a particular party. When I hear a lot of you niggas to speak y'all perspective, it always rides on the same line as those political parties. I'm the first one who I defended Kirk, right? But we both know most Democrats didn't. I'm also the first one to say that that man was murdered by ICE, but Republicans are not going to say that. That's all I'm saying. I ain't saying be fair. I'm saying my perspectives are non-biased. It's not connected to a party.
You got Democrats that's going to say he's not murdered.
Huh?
He did get murdered.
You got Democrats that's going to say he's not murdered. So you can't say that Republicans are going to say he's
but you can say that about both parties, though. You can say that about both parties.
That's what I'm just saying.
They're not the same.
That's what I'm just saying.
So check this.
You got to land the law, like both Democrat and Republican.
For Alex Pretty's family, confirming this newly released video shows him interacting with federal agents on January 13th. Tonight, the Board of Incident.
That is police brutality!
And tonight, the Border Patrol agents who fired in Pretty's fatal shooting are on administrative leave, according to the Department of Homeland Security. At a town hall last night, leave, according to the Department of Homeland Security. At a town hall last night, Representative Ilhan when a man in the crowd charged.
So it was even
vehicle and agents tackling him to the ground. The video does not show what happened before the incident.
that is police brutality!
And tonight, the Border Patrol agents who fired in Pretty's fatal shooting are on administrative leave, according to the Department of Homeland Security.
I don't give a damn what party you claim. It's 8 agents on top of this man. If 8 grown, strong men cannot subdue you, then they shouldn't be ICE agents. What are we talking about?
Man, you never worked with law enforcement. You have no idea. You have no idea, bro. You have no idea. This is nothing about
this is crazy, bro. This is crazy.
So we're not supposed to live in a land of laws or nothing?
But you justifying blowing somebody's head off. He got
I'm
shot.
not justifying blowing somebody's head off. We didn't even talk about the murder part. I'm not even talking about that part.
That's what I'm talking about.
We're trying to make somebody a monster like that. Nobody's a monster here. Don't do that. Don't do that.
You know,
what we're talking about is what we're talking about. I'm just talking about you making it a Republican Democratic thing. That's crazy.
I done played a whole video since then. What are you talking about?
This is talking about how
you know what I'm saying, Jay? I done played a whole video. He's still talking about politics.
So I used to work for
DHS,
DHS,
conduct
right?
yourself at a protest? Is that how you would conduct yourself, just like that?
What? Okay.
So overlook the
asking,
video.
Don't think about the death. Don't think about that like that. I'm asking a question. Is that how you would conduct yourself at a protest?
This man just said, "Don't think about the death."
In a protest.
I'm asking you.
Hold on, in a protest prior to the death of what you're saying.
We can't
prior,
even look
prior
at
to the death of what you're saying.
Wow.
Prior to the death of what you're saying, he did not act.
No, y'all got it, man. Y'all got it. Y'all got it. It's a Republican Democratic thing. It's binary.
No. Hold on, King. It's not a Republican Democrat because
you don't even know Republican Democratic thing. It's that binary. That's
the whole aspect of.
That's what it is.
And I'm trying to tell you,
we never can have. There's no common ground. There's no laws. There's no America. There's no voting. It's just Africa's better than everything.
So basically, you running from the video. You running from the video.
I ain't running from shit, nigga.
I went to Africa once.
No, don't save these niggas. Don't save them.
I went one time with a very wealthy Arab man from Kuwait. I was in my early 20s.
We want to tell this story, or what are we doing?
I just wanted to. Now he's laughing now. I just wanted some, some sauce in there.
I didn't know we were going here.
Because he said you said we should go to Africa, so I went, but I went to Egypt. It wasn't like
Look, if we can't figure out a line where we can say when behavior kind of predicts what's going on, then I don't know what we're talking about. Are we not able to talk about that? Like behavior to get to things, we can't.
I think we can.
Do we not have state and city laws and restrictions on how you protest, where you can, and all that kind of thing? Do we not have that at all?
I think it's dependent on
I'm not
saying
that people don't break those rules. I'm not saying that people don't break those rules. I seen the Watts riots. I seen the George Floyd stuff. I seen what's going on in Minnesota. I'm not saying that people don't break the thing, but I'm saying, isn't there a decorum way that we keep saying we're walking across the Edis Pettis Bridge or whatever, and we're walking arm in arm? We're safe.
Do you think that
I'm just asking?
Yeah, I got an answer for you. So this is what I honestly think. You're right. There should be a line. The fact that ICE is there trying to get illegal Mali role, if that was in a predominant white, maybe to hell with political parties, if it was more people that represent what they see as part of white people, that type of stuff wouldn't be happening and there would be no problem. They hear Minnesota, they hear the Somali stuff, they know ICE is there to get illegal. So they're like cool with it because that's this collateral damage. If this was going on in Greenwich, Connecticut, everything would be completely different. That's just my thoughts. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sitting there trying to understand how we can look at a video with several strong men on a man back, and they got his hands, and they are in control of his whole body.
He probably on that shit.
You won't even let me finish the sentence. So that's how I know it's disingenuous.
I feel like what King is trying to say, because I'm like the outside looking in from this conversation. What King is trying to say is that from law enforcement perspective, they're trained a certain way, and they have to do things a certain way to protect themselves. So from a law enforcement perspective, he finds that the officers, were doing what they needed to do based off his prior behavior. And that because none of us have any experience in law enforcement, maybe we don't quite understand. That's what I'm kind of seeing, like King's point. Am I understanding it correctly, King?
And that's been the problem that I've been having, and that's been my pushback, because that's been the problem I've been having with some people who've been having their perspective on it because they're in military law enforcement. That don't mean just because we haven't been there does not mean we're not qualified to assess the situation.
I ain't nobody said that. That's what she said.
Well,
I'm just responding to her, sir. I'm not aiming at you. I'm speaking.
I mean, I just know that because protests are scary.
Because for some reason, when it comes to situations like this, people with military or law enforcement background, they think that their perspectives is supposed to hold water more than ours, and that's not necessarily always accurate.
Well, let me say something really quickly. I want to say something about myself really quickly that I haven't said before. I used to work for DHS. I was a RAM officer. I was a risk assessment mitigator.
What?
I was a risk assessment mitigator for the Department of Homeland Security.
That's fine. They wrote it.
I'm not saying that I know everything, but what I'm saying is one of the terms what happened there is I used to say that the officers were pimping up the culprit. You know what I'm saying? That whole thing did not need to go in that manner. Okay, I used to assess risk for different type of things. As far as in Minnesota, Mall American, when they had the RNC years ago, I was one of the people that tried to make sure they see certain things for the risk as far as them trying to blow stuff up the ground. Okay, that. Understandably, what Kane is saying, yes, you hear that, eliminate the threat, but they have a certain type of process they have to do to be able to recognize it. They don't need to see. They don't need to see the perp with the gun. They need to hear it, understand the location, and then assess in a certain amount of time to eliminate if they need to. They were not in any imminent threat. That man never put his hands on his weapon. He had his weapon. He never touched his weapon.
They don't know
He was
it.
in
They
the
don't know
field,
it.
but here's the thing. I understand you're saying like like law enforcement is a thing. You have to be a law-abiding citizen. This is true, but you also have rights within those laws that law enforcement has to abide by with you. They did not do that with him. That's all I'm saying. He was in the field position. They had all these men. He did not touch his weapon. It was pulled. Your gun needs untrained.
It's just a matter of seconds, though. I mean, we both saying.
But that's part of the but that's part of their.
It's a matter of seconds. When you hear the words, when they're saying it, gun, gun, gun. The guy says gun, gun,
and this was after he walked away with the man's gun.
In seconds, they're all shooting at the same time, man.
So that makes it justified to you.
It's not justified, man. I don't know. I feel like there is gonna be some blowback from if they really, really look at it. But if they look at it from a law standpoint from the training of those officers, they're going to get off because they're gonna be able to hide. They're gonna be able to be behind the wall of where they in fear or feel a threat to their life. And
you know, it's funny. The person that was scared the most in that situation was the person that died. More than likely.
What'd you say?
The person that had the most fear in that situation, more than likely, was the person that died.
Yeah, and I'm not
with even, one weapon on his hip,
and then there's 10 or 12 people. We don't have an emotional level ruler. We don't have an emotional level ruler. We don't have an emotional level ruler to know like who was scared. But here's the thing: the person not who wasn't scared is. I'm just saying the person who was surrounded by people with weapons and never grabbed his out of fear. In the courtroom, they're going to say, "Hey, did you feel threatened your life?" They're going to ask those cops that in the courtroom. You know what I'm saying? In the courtroom, they're going to ask the cops that.
But he never grabbed his weapon out of fear, and all of them did and shot that man 10 times out of fear.
Hold on.
That's all they're going to ask.
Jay, let me ask you a question. Jay. If let's say you have a gun on you, but 5 or 6 guys come up on you and they have guns, are you going to be scared?
Absolutely.
Is there going to be a level of fear? Christian, same. Answer the question. Who you think are going to be more scared, them or you?
Yeah, I'm scared.
Steve, if you have your weapon, he probably can't hear. If you have your weapon and there's 6 guys run up on you and they got weapons, who gonna be more scared, them or you?
Yeah, I'm gonna be scared.
King, answer the question.
Yeah, I'm gonna be scared.
Well, what are you talking about? We don't have an emotional gauge.
That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about I don't have an emotional gauge on who was the scariest out of those people because I'm not in that situation. But what I'm saying is that that's not the law answer. That's not the law question. They're gonna ask these cops that. That's the whole thing that's gonna be pinned on. For them to,
we know they're gonna get away with it.
Of course, they have to go through that question. That's
all. They can kill anybody when they're scared.
Y'all trying to make it where I'm trying to say who's the scaredy cat and who's the scaredy. I'm not worried about that. I'm talking about the law part of it, man.
What the top of the conversation was it wrong or not? We know they probably gonna get away with it, but that was cold-blooded murder, bro. That was murder, dog. That was murder. Now, here's what I'm saying. If you ask me about the lady, right? I don't think they had to take a life, but unfortunately, she gave them the green light. So if you notice, my stance on that situation is different than my stance on this one.
Why?
On this one, because this man was down on his back was up. He can't even look up. And his gun was in his back concealed. And we watched them. It's 7, 8 guys on you. Who do you think look weaker? 8 guys can't disarm or keep a man down. Nah, bro, that was murder. And then they killed him. They started shooting him after he walked away with the gun. How is that not murder, kid?
I'm telling y'all won't let me say what I need to say without cutting me.
Are you serious, King? You and Jay went at it for 40 minutes, bro. What are you talking about?
It's two different agencies. Both agencies aren't tactical agencies. They're 2 different agencies, and they're not going to communicate, and they didn't communicate. And that's where internally, yes, they're going to get reprimanded and in trouble internally We probably won't never see that, but they will. They will know they got a stripe taken away or assignments taken away. They will. Those guys that are installed, those 8 guys you keep talking about, but there's 2 different units. Those are the DHS and ICE together. They're not talking. They don't have communication. That's why they're making emphasis on where were the city police or the state police to protect them, to do their job, to go do what they were doing. The reason why they were there, so that wasn't there.
I mean, you can tell me all the logistics. It's still murder.
Regardless, it's an unfortunate situation because somebody died, you know. But at the end of the day, you know, it's kind of like, you know, the police is out here doing fuck shit. So I just kind of feel like you got to protect yourself at all costs. And me personally, I think the man should be able to carry his gun. He has all the proper documentation. He did not break a law. But me personally, I'm not going to go with my gun to a protest because I already know the cops are out there doing fuck shit to people. You know, these are these federal agents, you know, they're all masked up and shit. They're out here doing all this. You know, what's it to them to start fucking with me too? I'm not saying he was wrong or anything. You know, he can do what he wants to do. But it's kind of like a situation to read the room. You know, if some shit pops off, chances are you're putting yourself in even more danger for the cops to fuck with you, you know? So that's just the only thing. Is like, I wouldn't have personally felt comfortable bringing my firearm to that situation, knowing what you're protesting against.
Well, you know, the only pushback I have towards that is that they're called protests for a reason. And when our grandparents protested in the 60s and 70s and they didn't have no weapons, look what happened to them. I'm not going to lie. When white people protest, that's what they do. They bring them. Just because they're not showing it, they bring them. Secondly, whenever I protested, I had my shit on me. I'm sorry. I ain't going nowhere without mine. but
I've never been to a protest. I just when I was a child, the Rodney King riots broke out on my birthday. Okay, so it ruined my birthday. And the way that my dad described it to me, it just made me feel like I never want to be anywhere around any type of protest or anything like that.
Rockstar, I don't walk my Frenchie without a piece on me.
Your Frenchie.
My Frenchie.
I believe, Steve. I believe. Well, Dan, that was a good conversation, man. We got one more topic, y'all. Let me remove the good stuff, man. I liked the little debate between King and Jay. That was exciting to see. That was exciting.